Okay. Hey guys, what's up? It is JBIllusion here. How you doing today? I hope you're doing fantastic. This is the second episode of this podcast. Because I only do a podcast once every 2 months, apparently. I'm sorry about that. I will get back into this. I'm just a terrible person. I woke up feeling not too good today. I had to, grab an energy drink. I have to say energy drink. I can't say the specific type. But, something that actually brings me to a very, very interesting point. Copyright controversies. Or it's controversies, I think. Well, anyhow, the Fine brothers did have a very, very interesting time. Basically, they filed some trademarks and they were actually very open about them. It's basically about React videos. They do the videos React, kids react, elders react, all that crazy stuff. And the thing about it is, a lot of people on YouTube do actually do videos that are about, reacting. Like, I've done videos about reacting, and the internet did not really take this in a good way. So, basically, what they're trying to do, what one of the Fine brothers said, is basically use a Burger King analogy. If you want to start a fast food restaurant, you can start one on your own and possibly find huge success, yes. But if you love Burger King and want to be part of that organization, if you join, you'd be able to get access to things like menu items and recipes and specific logos and promotional support. Benny Fine said in the video, and these are two totally different routes. Same kind of thing here with React World. Basically, not only patenting those things, they were going to start something called React World, which would basically give people who are looking to do reaction YouTube, I guess you could say channels, some support. I'm pretty sure they're not going to say, hey, here's a camera. Thank you for signing up for React World. But probably music and most likely some possibly access to some programs that might make it easier for someone to start a reaction YouTube channel, ideas, support on specific camera angles and the like. The Fine brothers it's basically someone playing with object, camera on them, and them playing with it and saying some interesting and funny stuff. But basically, they're trying to open this up. People subscribe to it, and they get the Fine brothers assistance, and they get promotional support. Now, the promotional support thing is kind of weird to me, because the thing about it is YouTube is so much based around you got a shot, kid, go ahead and do something. Me, the more time people love me for some odd reason, and I'm really happy about that. I'm happy that a lot of the people who subscribe to my YouTube channel are from more time and enjoy that content. But it kind of feels like someone latching on to a more popular YouTube channel and getting and becoming like a subsidiary of them. He used the Burger King analogy, and it's basically, a chain, or the Fine brothers trying to open up a chain of reaction channels and having every reaction channel pay them dues. See, that's the crazy thought process that I'm sure most of the internet went through, and they were pretty pissed. The Fine brothers, I do believe, lost 270,000 subscribers in 3 days. For me, I would be literally under my bed crying right now if that happened to me. But they have roughly, I think, 13 million, so I think they dropped down to 12.8, which is, you don't want to lose that many people at a specific point in time. For me personally, I would think that it definitely had to hurt their business. You could say that they do have still, 12 million people, but that was 270,000 active people who left them. And there's also kind of negative press out there. There have been, you know, things that they do work with other YouTubers, and maybe they pay them, maybe it's for promotion. Who knows? But you have to wonder if you would attach yourself without getting paid to someone to get more promotion for yourself and do like YouTuber reacts when these guys just lost a lot of people and there's some negative stuff hanging around them. But you could hang out with another YouTuber who just got, let's say, 1,000 more subscribers because they did some crazy, awesome, amazing video. You know, you got to think that it did hurt them in the long run. And I think that's why the Fine brothers took these steps. They rescinded all of their React trademarks and applications, including React, Kids React, Elders React, and Lyric Breakdown. So just the base React trademark kind of bugs me out, you know? And the Kids React thing is another interesting thing. Ellen recently did something where, you know, well, I think it was a while ago, but I remember reading something about the Fine brothers not being too happy about it. Basically, Ellen had 2 kids on the show, and she sat down with them and she showed them a typewriter. So the kids reacted to the typewriter and she was asking them questions, and it was a really funny thing. And I do believe one of the Fine brothers said that Ellen basically used their formula. Well, if it's them sitting down in front of a televised audience, you know, talking and interacting with an object, could that be considered the same for their YouTube videos? You know, that's kind of the line that I think a lot of people were kind of freaked out with. You know what I mean? They also decided to discontinue the React World program and release all past content ID claims. That's pretty awesome, but I think it was, excuse me, it's that energy drink kicking in. I kind of think that that's what they kind of had to do at this point in time. Well, to not look like jerks. Do I think that they do have a right to protect what they've done, what they've made? Heck yeah. Like, how many people do you think have, I guess you could say, taken what the Fine brothers do, posted on their own channel as blatant, like, hey, look at me, I made this when I really didn't. But the question is, when does homage become blatant copyright infringement? For example, I loved Pacific Rim. I really hope Pacific Rim 2 does completely go through and it gets twice as much funding as it did previously. But it was really a kaiju monster movie in vein of Godzilla and the old stuff that they used to do where they got like 2 dudes in rubber suits to fight each other. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. And they even used kaiju as the term for the monsters, as kind of like homage. But if you say trademarked kaiju and giant dude or giant robot fighting giant monster that just so happens to pop up out of the sea, is that, you know what I mean? Could you in turn go after Pacific Rim and Guillermo del Toro? You see, that's kind of the thing. Like, at what point is there a line? And depending on how broad the trademarks are, that line could be anywhere. In fact, Adam Carolla, a while ago, I believe, had something brought against him legally. He has a very successful podcast. He makes money off of it. And some people who have an old trademark patent for something that's, you know, kind of broad and it's kind of like a podcast, and they sued him for trademark infringement, I believe. You know, I don't believe they won. Carolla has the ability to fight it off, but the fear in this was that the Fine brothers would then use their trademark to go against people who obviously do not have the money to defend themselves in court, basically. So I'm happy that this whole thing is basically washing down into nothing. The internet can go ahead and be angry for like a couple more days and then we'll all get angry at somebody else, but it's really interesting this entire situation, considering also the fact that Sony tried to trademark Let's Play, which would immediately get me shut down. And the fear was that they would, you know, do what I just described in that situation, basically form some type of crazy monopoly on Let's Plays. I'm pretty sure they got laughed out of court because, well, it's such a common use term right now. You know, welfare, it's in the public domain, I believe is the proper terminology. But yeah, crazy, crazy stuff. Happy it didn't go through, and then we will be on to our next bit of news. Now, this is actually about video game people. Video games. La 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 la. The creator for Gears of War, Blazinski, was talking about the relative cost of a single player campaign in a primarily, well, a multiplayer shooter. And we all really, really love single player campaigns, but he was talking about the fact that 75% of the budget for a large game like Gears of War actually goes to creating that single player mode. And let's be honest, single player mode really isn't why you might play Halo or Gears of War or, let's see, Call of Duty. It's mostly for going online, having fun, and competing against other people. When 75% of a budget goes to the single player campaign, you have to kind of get sad. Or at least I get a little sad because in reality, how many times have you played a single player campaign for a shooting game? A lot of single player campaigns are actually really, really great, but maybe once, twice, maybe a third time with friends, and that's kind of it. Then you go online and do crazy shenanigans. For example, I missed the majority of GTA. I missed like all of that story mode. But my roommate was like, "Hey, John, I'm just online messing with people. You want to come? You want to play a little bit?" And I was like, "Sure." You know, I'd seen him play a little bit, beat the story mode, and we then proceeded to spend, I believe, 5 to 6 hours just trolling people online. It was awesome. And I wonder how this is actually going to work out. Because we've seen things like Star Wars Battlefront and Titanfall, and a lot of people are pissed off at Battlefront because they took the most, I would say, content-rich IP that you could have, Star Wars, that has so much crazy stuff in it, and basically turn it into, well, there is supposedly some type of story mode, but it's just like, just go on X Star Wars planet in background and shoot people, and go pew pew and wait for Darth Vader or, oh god, I believe Boba Fett to come in and just kill you and murk you relentlessly until that guy gets taken out and somebody else gets a crazy kill streak or picks up the magical power up and then turns into a hero character and goes on a killing spree. You know? I'm hoping, maybe I should trademark this. I'm hoping that in the future, instead of having just a game that has like a really, really bare bones single player campaign and is completely focused on online multiplayer, I would really like to see something that blends the two of them together. Now, this sounds crazy, but kind of like, not an MMO, but I would like to see something where you could play through a story mode campaign with your friends or a couple people that you met online, but have that be the story. If that sounds right. Like, I know that a specific game that I shall not mention because I'm still pissed off at it did try to do that with story mode, with story elements that you could read on an online codex because that's the point of having an incredible story in your game. Oh my goodness. That's the point, right? You can just go online and read all the story right there. It'll be awesome, right? Ugh. I'm just hoping like something like that actually does come into creation, or somebody whose indie maybe goes and does something crazy, and then that becomes like a staple. Like, I remember playing Conan a long time ago, and basically it was single player for 20 levels, and then never played GTA's like story mode, but I felt like I didn't really lose anything because the multiplayer I probably played, my roommate and I probably played more multiplayer than single player. It's just one of those things. I'll be right back and we will go into another little bit of gaming news.
There is a great horror beneath the manor. A crawling chaos that must be destroyed. The task ahead is terrible. And weakness cannot be tolerated. My obsession caused this great foulness. Now, like me, you are a part of this place. The darkest dungeon.
Hello, I'm a PS4. Delightfully cultured and refined. Hey, I'm an Xbox. Mountain Dew and Doritos, yeah! Hi, I'm a PC. And I used to have something in common with those guys, but thanks to WB and NetherRealm, I got screwed. So, here's how it works, guys. The PC port of Mortal Kombat X is pretty much going to be dead as of I believe their XL pack. They're, the newest add-on to the Mortal Kombat X game, I guess. Well, we can't call it a series, but the Mortal Kombat series. Will include the 3 robots, Cyrax, Smoke, and Sector. A couple other characters, Boraicho, the alien, and for some weird reason, thank you, WB Leatherface. And PC has officially kind of been dropped. It's not going to be updated with this. And it's kind of an FU to everyone who bought the game on PC, considering the fact that it was kind of a colossal piece of crap, to be completely honest with you. So how it worked out was that the PC version was basically handed out to another company to do, I believe, was High Voltage, and it was pretty bad. So eventually, basically the PC port of the game was kind of DOA. Dead on arrival. A lot of people weren't happy with it. This was before the refund system, so a lot of people were pissed. And because of that, it just didn't get off the ground for me. I didn't decide to buy it. I said, when it gets fixed. And, a while ago people were saying, it's good. But there's also a very, very small community base. So it was kind of like, what's the point? And now it's gotten to the point where all those people who did buy the game, I think it was 500,000 people did buy it on PC, are basically not going to have the ability to buy this extra DLC to bring them into the new age to keep up with the Xbox people and the PS4 people. Or, well, just the Xbox people. And It kind of sucks, guys, to be completely honest. I mean, maybe this is some way getting back on PC people who may or may not have bought the game on G2A for $8. But then again, your game came out super quick. It's still selling, and it's only worth $8 on G2A. Really, guys? Yeah, it's just not a really cool situation. I don't like how they are basically giving up on PC. That's how it feels like for me. I'm a huge fan of MK. I started playing video games really with Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter on Super Nintendo. And I'm sad that they kind of shut down our market. As I've gotten older, I've become a PC gamer. Instead of buying an Xbox and having to get like the stupid months and all that crap, or just buying a PS4, which was really expensive at the time, I just said I'm going to put more money into my PC because I use it for everything, and hey, it should be alright. But apparently, there are some companies who just don't like PC or drop stuff on PC or release really bad ports. So this is essentially like the third strike for WB when it comes to just PC stuff. I mean, we had, kind of really bad PC port MKX. Hey, don't worry, it got better though. And then there was the Batman crazy crappy port that it was that came out. I believe Iron Galaxies handled that one. And now, well, F you guys. Thanks, NetherRealm and WB. Thank you guys very much. I do not think I'll probably buy anything with a WB tag on it for a very long time, but that's just me. Anyhow, thank you guys for checking it out. So, a long time ago, there was a guy who created a game for the Ludum Dare back in 2014 called Ant Simulator. It was a 48-hour test to create a game. He called it Ant Simulator. You control a queen ant, who in turn controls all of her other ants and send them out to do various tasks. And he said, hey, you know what? This would actually make a really good, full game. So he partnered up with two dudes, and they went through it, the Kickstarter campaign, all that stuff. And supposedly, he is saying that his two friends, oh my goodness, spent the majority of their Kickstarter money on booze and strippers. Yeah, booze and strippers. That's where the money went. So I'm sure the people who backed this game on Kickstarter are extremely happy. And this reminds me a little bit of just kind of how scary Kickstarter is, or how it's possible that most Kickstarters actually don't finish. Last time I checked, Psychonauts 2 is at $1.8 million, and some people are looking into the money. But, to tell you the truth, I don't think Tim Schafer, they're gonna need more money. They're going to go crazy with that. Anyhow, I'm sorry for that segue. Basically, the guy came out, said he is resigning from the company. We cannot make this game. I do not want to be a part of this because of what they did. And he's saying that in their LLC agreement, their contracts, that the guys covered themselves, claiming that the business meetings that involve strippers and booze were exactly that. Business meetings that were completely written off perfectly and are protected by whatever contract that they had. So, the whole idea for Ant Simulator is actually kind of cool. I like the idea of playing a bug queen controlling all of her quote-unquote minions. That sounds awesome, and basically a Bug's Life, but violent, would be awesome. Oh my god, we gotta take out those bees over there by the flower patch. We gotta take them out, man. Like something like that. Or, oh my god, there's termites. Run. We need to figure out how to defeat them. Send one brave ant to tunnel from a little spot of water into the termites' lair for a suicide run. That would be ridiculously interesting, I personally think. But this kind of makes me really sad. The guy says he's going to move forward now in the future and not be so trusting. These two dudes are also have been his friends since he was like 11, and that kind of sucks. So the game is going to, I'm assuming, continue its I'm guessing it's going to be continue being made by the two other gentlemen, but without the main person who actually put the whole idea of this game on the map. What's the point? You know what I mean? And of course, the two guys who were also a part of it say that's 100% BS. There's, we didn't do it. It was part of our operating budget. That's it. And it wasn't excessive. So, will we ever know who's telling the truth and who's lying? No. No, we won't. All I know is a really interesting game that could have been made and could have actually probably had some success is now not going to probably make it to PC or PS4, which was slated to. And everyone who, of course, was part of the Kickstarter is probably going to suffer because of possible mismanagement. At least it was somebody who mismanaged something that caused somebody to quit. Or maybe it was just a falling out. But then again, that's kind of Kickstarter now. And I'm very, very sad to say that a lot of the games on Kickstarter are not getting fully brought out. Excuse me, they're just not. It looks really, really good, and then eventually kind of doesn't come out. But there is one thing I can say is going to come out and is freaking awesome. Cue the stupid music! Dun 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 dun. Street Fighter 5. Okay, so I basically spent a ridiculous amount of time playing the Street Fighter 5. What was it? Beta 4? Yes, it's the last beta before the game officially comes out, and I can say I really, really, really enjoy it. Mostly because I feel like, see, I came in late on Street Fighter 4, and I'm not really like a huge technical player. The more crazy things that you can do, I feel takes away from games sometimes. Like, I mean, depth is awesome. It's great, but it's also the reason why I'm not like a huge StarCraft fan. I'm not, there's like an entry barrier that's very, very high on a lot of games. And for fighting games for me, I always could just like go in and be like, oh, this is what this character does. This is this move, this move, this move. I can go in and at least like kind of feel like I'm battling against someone. Street Fighter 4 felt more like I was battling against the system as opposed to my opponent. However, 5 I feel is fantastic. I think it's really, really, really easy to pick up. It's easy to pick up with the moves and different skills, and just how you should play. Like, okay, that guy threw a fireball, he threw another fireball. If I jump, if I predict that he's going to throw another fireball, I could jump and I could kick him in the face. And then guy throws another fireball, you jump, kick him in the face, and maybe you could follow up with an awesome combo, if you know. The combo system is also easier for me personally, I believe a lot of players, because my execution usually is crap, and I really liked Vega in Street Fighter 4. So Vega has one frame links. One frame, people. I can't land that ish. Ever. ever. It took a long time for me to get to a point where I was actually able to land like 2 or 3 one-frame links in a match. And I felt really accomplished, but I was also really behind the people who could. However, in Street Fighter V, just the combos feel easier. Once you figure it out, you can do it, as long as you don't crack and freak out like I'm also prone to do. There's a very interesting group of characters. It's very diverse, and there's definitely somebody for everybody. So far, I feel like, for example, in Street Fighter V, I was never really comfortable with the majority of the characters. I never really found someone I was 100% in love with. I made it to 22,000 ladder points with Ken, and oh my god, Ken and I are back together again. It felt like right. It felt good. There's definitely a lot of things that we don't know yet, and a lot of people were trying to figure out, okay, how do I do this? How do I beat this? How do I do this? What I found was interesting was there was already this kind of meta that started forming. The Ken versus Karen matchup. If you check out my YouTube, you'll probably find a couple of my Ken matches and the Ken versus Karen thing. It's really interesting because Karen has like multiple attacks. She'll do one and then into something else, into a third guess. I was able to stop her in between her, I guess you could say, choices with a nice like back medium punch from Ken. Hold back, press medium punch, and I was able to stop her. And that freaked out the Karens I had played against. That was all that they knew. And it was like they had to come up with something on the fly, and a lot of them couldn't. Then I wound up playing against some very skilled Karens who had a very good idea of the max range that Ken had, and they were always poking me outside of that. And then I had to figure out, okay, what am I going to have to do to get myself out of this situation? As opposed to this guy is attacking me and I just have to hold it. Like, I just have to hold that attack. You know what I mean? I really like the fact that it felt really experimental. It felt like there's a counter that you could use. For example, I'm an idiot now in retrospect. They have alpha counters in the game. Basically, you hold back to block, somebody hits you, and then you press forward in either 3 kicks or 3 punches, Ken's 3 kicks, and you knock them back off of you. They hit the ground, and they get back up, you get back up, and it's kind of like a reset for the situation. And you can spend your V-trigger meter to do it. And now that I'm thinking about it, I should have done that. And it would have been epic, but I didn't. So, I do think that there is depth to the game. Will I agree that they need to tighten some stuff up? Yes. But that should be done when this game comes out, February 16th. It's going to be amazing, and I hope I see you guys online. I definitely will be. Barring any like crazy bill I have to pay or anything like that. Anyhow, this has been the Illusion Podcast. Thank you guys for watching. You are all awesome people, and I will be doing this a little bit more frequently. I apologize. Anyhow, thank you guys very much, and peace out, people.